When a single sentence silences an entire room. Imagine this for a moment. You walk into a loud room, a family argument, or a simple conversation among friends. Voices collide, each person trying to dominate, to impose their view. Then suddenly, you speak a single sentence, calm, steady, precise, and the room falls silent. Not because you raised your voice, but because it carried a strength no one could overlook. If this kind of presence intrigues you, you're in the right place. Today, I'll share 5 sentences capable of rebalancing any exchange and strengthening your inner stance. And the third is so disarming it can shift a power dynamic in a matter of seconds. Before we continue, consider subscribing so you don't miss any of these explorations that turn philosophy into daily practice. Chapter 1. I understand your view, but I see it differently. At first glance, this sentence seems ordinary, almost banal, yet its power lies in its subtle balance. Most arguments don't collapse over facts, but over ego. The moment you declare you're wrong, defenses rise, listening shuts down, and the battle begins. But when you start with, I understand your view, the dynamic shifts. You acknowledge the other person. You hear them. You respect their perspective. And then, without raising your voice or showing arrogance, you state your own position. Picture the scene. A meeting. A colleague presents a plan destined to fail. Many would stay silent. Others would explode. You lean forward slightly, steady voice, calm gaze, and say, I understand your view, but I see it differently. In that moment, the atmosphere changes. You are neither an aggressive opponent nor a passive follower. You become someone grounded, thoughtful, someone impossible to manipulate. Never forget this. The calmer your disagreement, the more weight it carries. The one who masters their voice eventually masters the room. If this kind of teaching resonates with you, feel free to support the channel so these messages can continue to grow. Chapter 2. I don't find that appropriate. Sometimes the most powerful response is also the shortest. This simple 5-word sentence can extinguish a wildfire before it sparks. It acts like a quiet barrier, calm, yet impossible to cross. Most people, when faced with an inappropriate remark, respond with a nervous laugh or with silence. And within that silence, an invisible message circulates. You may disrespect me. Few realize how much this unspoken permission shapes relationships and builds habits that are hard to break. But when you look someone directly in the eyes and say, gently but firmly, I don't find that appropriate, everything shifts. You remind them, without raising your voice, exactly where the boundary lies. Picture it, a dinner table. An offhand, disrespectful joke is made, and everyone waits for your reaction. You breathe in softly and respond without aggression. I don't find that appropriate. The laughter stops. The room regains its balance, and your presence immediately gains weight. In that instant, you become the person who dares to say what others feel but never articulate. This is not rigidity. It is dignity. And dignity inspires. It protects. It opens the door for others to set their own boundaries with the same quiet strength. Chapter 3. Let's talk when we can do it with respect. There are moments when an exchange stops being a discussion and becomes a collision. Voices rise, interruptions fly, and every word turns into a projectile. In those moments, most people either fight back or retreat. The Stoic path is different. It means reclaiming control through composure. When everything ignites, you pause your response and calmly say, let's talk when we can do it with respect. Instantly, the turmoil dissolves, because you have just changed the rules. You are not refusing the conversation. You are refusing the hostility it was turning into. Imagine a colleague who keeps interrupting, trying to dominate the space. You don't compete in volume. You don't plead. You simply place the sentence like an unmoving stone in the middle of a rushing stream. This posture is a powerful reminder of what Epictetus taught. You do not control others, but you always choose your response. And your response defines your strength. Chapter 4. I'd rather not continue this conversation. Not every debate deserves your energy. Some discussions spiral endlessly, where the other person isn't seeking truth but victory. Many get lost in these cycles, spending hours trying to prove what never needed proving. And the more you engage, the further you drift from yourself. Wisdom begins the moment you understand that your inner peace is worth more than a verbal triumph. That's where this sentence comes in. I'd rather not continue this conversation. It is neither retreat nor defeat. It is a declaration, proof that you know how to protect yourself, even when the exchange pushes you beyond your limits. Imagine someone who returns again and again to the same accusations, the same attacks. You feel the exhaustion setting in. Instead of diving deeper into chaos, you breathe and say calmly, I'd rather not continue this conversation. The tension loosens, not because you won, but because you chose not to betray yourself. And that choice is worth far more than any victory in a meaningless argument. Chapter 5. That's your view, and I respect it, but I don't share it. Today, everyone wants to tell you how to live, how to work, how to love. Opinions are imposed, sometimes forcefully, and too often we respond in one of two ways. Either we argue endlessly, or we agree just to avoid conflict. In both cases, we quietly drift away from our own voice. There is a third path, far more noble. You listen, you acknowledge, and then you affirm your independence. That's your view, and I respect it, but I don't share it. This sentence protects your thinking without damaging the relationship. It closes the door to manipulation while keeping open the door to respect. It shows that disagreement does not have to become opposition. Imagine a colleague pushing you to adopt their method, or a relative trying to impose their beliefs. You don't submit. You don't fight. You remain steady, peaceful, and you speak these words. It sets a clear boundary, without aggression, but with quiet strength. It reminds everyone that respecting others never means erasing yourself. It is the act of affirming your freedom while preserving the connection. Why these sentences make you stronger. These 5 expressions share 3 essential qualities. They separate reaction from emotion. You respond without inflaming the moment. They establish boundaries. You silently teach others how you expect to be treated. And they express self-respect. Because respect for oneself always precedes respect from others. When you use them, you are not merely managing a conversation. You are practicing an inner discipline. You are embodying the Stoic idea that true strength is born from self-mastery. Calm as the signature of character 5 sentences. Simple, measured, unadorned, yet capable of transforming the way you stand in front of the world. Respect is never imposed. It is inspired by a steady presence, by words that do not waver. So here is my invitation. Choose one sentence this week and apply it. And share a simple commitment in the comments. I choose respect. If this reflection resonated with you, consider subscribing and turning on notifications so we can continue to grow together. Inside this Stoic habit where philosophy becomes a way of life.